Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm Matt. And yes, we're still in these fresh, shiny, slightly delusional first days of 2026. That wonderful time of year when everyone believes that a new notebook, a fancy pen, and a motivational quote written in capital letters have the supernatural power to turn us into disciplined, productive, ultra focused human beings. Because, of course, if you write a goal on paper, it automatically becomes reality, right? Yeah, I wish it worked like that. But anyway, today we're going to talk about New Year's resolutions, that universal tradition shared by humanity, regardless of country, language, culture, or favorite pizza topping, where we promise ourselves amazing things that generally last until January 15th. Maybe January 20th if we're particularly optimistic. And yes, obviously I've been part of that group too. The "this year I'll become a better version of myself" club, with all the enthusiasm of a motivational speaker and all the consistency of a Wi-Fi signal in an underground parking lot. And yet, this episode is a little different because instead of simply laughing at unrealistic resolutions, I want to tell you about a resolution that I actually fulfilled last year. One that changed my routine, my brain, my identity, and occasionally my pronunciation related dignity. I'm talking about learning English because my native language is Spanish. And last year I decided that enough was enough. No more someday, no more excuses, no more waiting for the perfect moment. I made it my main New Year's resolution, and I went all in. But before we get into that story, let's talk about the classics. The traditional resolutions everyone writes down with absolute confidence on January 1st. The first one, of course, is going to the gym. The gym on January 2nd looks like a music festival, but without music and with much more sweating and existential confusion. You see people wandering among the machines like explorers in an unknown land. Nobody knows exactly what each machine does, but everyone pretends they do because confidence is 90% of the workout experience. I was there too, part of the honorable group of December believers, January enthusiasts, and February ghosts. Then there's the classic, "I'm going to eat healthier." And the first week is pure discipline: oatmeal for breakfast, salad for lunch, chicken and vegetables for dinner. Your life looks like a nutrition commercial until someone shows up with pizza and your brain immediately says, "Listen, life is short. We deserve joy, and melted cheese is practically a spiritual experience." So you say, "Just one slice." And that slice has 7 emotionally persuasive friends. Another universal resolution is reading more books. You buy 3 or 4, you smell the pages because apparently that's part of the ritual. You place them on your desk, you look at them with admiration, and then they spend the rest of the year functioning as very intellectual decoration. Like, I may not have read them, but they clearly say I'm a thoughtful person. But last year, instead of choosing one of those common resolutions, exercising more, eating better, sleeping earlier, saving money, I chose something that sounded simple, but turned out to be a psychological roller coaster. I decided to learn English. And at first it sounded beautiful, inspiring, cinematic, like one of those emotional transformation montages from a movie, until reality showed up, looked me in the eyes, and said, "Oh, you thought this was going to be easy. How adorable." Because learning English as a Spanish speaker is like adopting a mythical dragon: powerful, fascinating, life changing, but every now and then it breathes linguistic fire straight into your soul. My first big shock was realizing that English almost never sounds like it looks. My brain, in full Spanish logic mode, would see a word and say, "Okay, this clearly sounds like this." And English would reply, "Haha, absolutely not." I remember the first time I tried to speak with someone in English. I had prepared mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I had practiced basic phrases. "Hi, how are you? My name is Matt." Easy, right? Well, theoretically. Because when the moment came, my brain disconnected from my mouth and went on vacation. What came out was something like, "Hello, my eh, I am wait, sorry, system error, rebooting." The other person looked at me like I was manually debugging my consciousness in real time. And of course, I also went through the legendary pronunciation crisis of sheet and shit. If you know, you know. There are moments that mark you forever. There are mistakes that become life lessons. There are words you never pronounce carelessly again. There were embarrassing situations, moments of frustration, days when I thought, why did I do this to myself? But then there were also incredible moments. The first full conversation I managed to hold, the first joke I understood, the first time I answered automatically without translating, the first time I dreamed in English. That day I thought, okay, something inside my brain has definitely changed. But the process was not a straight line. Learning English came with three big internal battles. The first one was fear. Fear of speaking, fear of being wrong, fear of sounding ridiculous. I thought everyone was going to judge every mistake I made, until I realized something simple but liberating. Everyone makes mistakes, and nobody dies because of a badly pronounced word. Well, except maybe in certain beach situations, but that's a separate conversation. The second challenge was thinking first in Spanish. My brain worked like this. I formed the sentence in Spanish, translated it mentally, tried to fix the grammar, doubted every word, and then finally spoke. 3 hours later, I sounded like a robot loading software updates mid-conversation. And the third challenge, the most brutal one, was consistency. Because learning a language isn't motivation. Motivation is the cute, sparkly part. Learning a language is habit. It's discipline. It's sitting down on days when you're tired, frustrated, bored, or mentally fried, and still doing a little bit. 20 minutes, 10, one phrase. And honestly, that's where the progress really lives. So, because of all that, this year I want to share the 7 things that truly helped me learn English. Not magical tricks, not fluency in 3 weeks. Real things. Messy things. Human things. First, make English part of your daily life. Don't treat it like a school subject. Let it enter through music, movies, videos, podcasts, memes. Yes, memes count. If the language enters through enjoyment, it stays. Second, speak even when you don't feel ready. Because, spoiler alert, you will never feel ready. Speak anyway. Make mistakes. Sound weird. Say basic sentences. Say them badly, then say them better. Every spoken sentence equals real progress. Third, try to think in English. Not translating in your head, but building simple thoughts directly. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm going out. Little phrases that slowly rewire your brain. Fourth, surround yourself with the language even if you're alone. Talk to yourself. Record voice notes. Describe what you're doing. It feels strange. It works incredibly well. Fifth, Learn expressions, not just isolated words. Language lives inside real phrases. How's it going? Let me think. Sounds good. That's how you start sounding natural. Sixth, make mistakes fast. Don't wait for perfection. Fail, correct, keep going. The error isn't a wall, it's part of the road. And seventh, have an emotional reason. Because learning English isn't only grammar or vocabulary, it's travel, work opportunities, friendships, conversations, confidence, understanding the world differently. When the reason is strong, discipline eventually follows. So here we are. New year, new resolutions, new notebooks full of dreams and promises. Last year, my resolution was to learn English. And I did with effort, confusion, laughter, embarrassment, stubbornness, and a lot of coffee. This year, I keep improving. I keep practicing. I keep sounding strange sometimes. But I keep going. And now I want to hear from you. What are your resolutions for 2026? Is learning English part of your plans? Have you tried before? How was your journey? Did you study alone, with classes, with friends, with embarrassing pronunciation stories like mine? Tell me, because this podcast is not only my story, it's also yours. And maybe, just maybe, this year is the one where your resolution finally becomes real. And wait, hold on, I just realized something. After spending the whole episode talking about resolutions, strengths, growth, discipline, identity, language learning, motivational philosophy, existential reflections, I completely forgot to tell you what my own New Year's resolution is. That was literally the whole point. One job, Matt. One. But you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to leave it like that. Mysterious, suspenseful, very dramatic, very cinematic, very season finale energy. Because if TV series can end on cliffhangers, why can't this podcast do it too? So, yeah, I'll tell you my big, chaotic, probably unrealistic New Year's resolution in the next episode. And trust me, it's a good one, or at least dangerously entertaining. See you there. Hopefully before I forget it again.